Hello, we're here at our Barrel store and I'm with Nadine from Wild Flora Studio.
And I'm here with Suzie from Suze Anderson Home, who has the most iconic homeware stores in Moss Vale, but this beautiful garden alfresco version here in Barrel.
And today we have together created this beautiful tablescape for Christmas, or any celebration really. It's not screaming out Christmas, but it is very uplifting and very welcoming for guests to come to.
Yeah, and I think we've just added those little Christmas touches just to make it a little bit more of a festive feel. We're really spoilt for choice in this store, let me tell you. So, but really the brief for Suzie was to be able to create a really garden feel, earthy type of design where you felt like you were really sitting amongst the garden. So there's lots of fresh and dried botanicals in here in this one.
And just a hint of colour. Generally, for those that know my style, I tend to be very neutral and quite monochromatic. But today, just the way that Nadine's added a hint of muted sort of rougey red to the tablescape has just uplifted it and broken through that monotony of neutrality. So I'm just very excited and thrilled with what she's put together.
Me too, I absolutely love it.
Good.
I think this is going to definitely have to go home and be my style for home for Christmas this year for sure.
Yeah. So Nadine, where did you start to create this beautiful scape? So what was the starting point?
I mean, you and I discussed roughly what sort of style and aesthetic we wanted in this garden room, and from there it just to me, I just think about the colour, the texture, what's going to be my focal elements. And once I saw those succulents, they were, for me, it's always just there's one element that I guess is the boss of the whole design, and the succulents definitely were that for me. I'm also mindful when I'm creating something, especially not necessarily for a one-off event, but for something like we're doing with you here in store, that it needed to, last for 5-6 weeks leading up to the Christmas period.
That's a really important thing, because I have in the past invested in floral installations for the shop, and great for the photography, but 3 days later starting to wilt, and you just went, oh, I'd love it to be a bit longer lasting than that to get through the season. So
I agree. I think that's something that really is sometimes missed by designers. They're so focused on the end product right at this minute, but it needs to, it needs to be value for money for you, and also be inspirational for those 6 weeks worth of clients, the customers and foot traffic that's coming through here. I'll just talk you through basically, I guess, my techniques and my mechanics as well, because if you don't know about me already, you'll know that I'm a very earth conscious and eco design florist. So I'm very mindful that I don't use any foam or plastics, all locally grown materials, and be able to, I guess, really respect the earth that the nature that I'm using. I don't want to let design be the sole driver and then not respect the very nature that I love. So creating that melt for you is out of a bird wire nest essentially. Really wanted to be able to create that wow factor when you first walk in, that there's something just growing on the table. I
love that you left the dirt in the base of the succulent. I love that. It just
good. I'm glad.
Looks like it's going to grow for hours. So.
Yeah, it will. And what that will actually do, again, coming back to the longevity, is that your staff would essentially just need to water spray. And the succulents, being such great lasters as they are anyway, will just be enough moisture that they will be able to be planted in 2 months later, and they'll look fine. So they should look really
easy to maintain.
Beautiful. And then I've, just like we do, I guess, in any type of styling, I'm thinking about layering. So where's my starting point? And underneath we have paper bark that was there for 2 reasons. One, to protect your table, but also to add that almost like a table runner, like a fabric table runner that you would often just put down on the table first. So we've used that with the paper bark. Then the pods, there's crocus pods in here that will allow for a little bit of height and a little bit of movement, so that
Right.
you run the risk sometimes when you're laying your designs on the table without any vaseware, that it gets quite
Or
flat.
on one level, you haven't got that layering.
Yeah, and you need that, you know, something
that's
to kind of
elevated
lift it up a little bit.
Right.
In saying that, though, I think it's really important to mention with tablescapes, which this is, I guess, my opinion, but I really do feel how important it is that you don't have flowers or botanicals right in the eyesight of your guests that are sitting there. You know, there's nothing worse than, I mean, it's nice to look
like
at a
this,
bunch
they end
of
up moving
flowers.
it, don't
They move them.
Yeah, it's not where you want it to go
No,
necessarily.
they just pick them up and put them on the sideboard, which is lovely, but
Yeah.
suddenly now your design that you've taken hours to put together is no longer. And it often happens at a wedding or an event like that as
Yes.
well. You know, I think this table is for lingering. I want people to sit there for a long time. So I think it's important that the tablescape is something that you look down on and into rather than, and sort of above and over the top of, rather than through it, if you know what I mean. So that was kind of the thought process of the height and the restrictions there. Obviously the focal of this design is the succulents. And then I've added actually little trays as water sources where the smoke bush and the kangaroo paw are, and they're just little, very simple, very inexpensive black plastic trays. Another bird wire nest over the top just to secure the material, and then we've added water to those. So they just need to get topped up maybe once a week with water, and added those, you know, beautiful little pieces of kangaroo paw and those fresh elements that I want to stay, you know, at least
good. Yes.
at
But
least
they're
a few
also
weeks for
something
you.
that, for me, for example, in a retail situation, in 4 weeks, if I had to just inject a little bit more of that fresh element, the background canvas is going to stay looking
Yep.
great. So
Exactly right. And you could change the whole look of this design just in those little pockets of fresh. You know, you could bring in roses, you could bring in tulips or dahlias or anything. If you wanted to make it almost more gardeny and less botanical, you could bring in some really almost an English sort of style and it still work. And that's kind of, I think, really versatile, especially
Really
for you know, a shop space like this is. And I think the only other element that I wanted to kind of mention, I guess, is that you know, the little dried hops that you see, it's almost transparent, and I just wanted to create that lightness in texture, lightness in colour, reflects the same colour from the bark all the way through the design, and just tends to float. And I call those my hey you moments. If in my online studio you'll see me and I talk about basically in every tutorial the hey you moments, and it's like, hey, come on in, and it just brings your eye into the design. So,
it does,
but yeah,
and those
I think
things
that's
that
it.
you can't necessarily put your finger on as to why it's not too dark, too light. It's just got that little bit of a lift, and you've chosen that specifically for that reason.
Yeah, I think it's important to mirror those lighter elements when you've got so much sort of dark and moody feel.
Works beautifully.
Yeah. And of course our little Christmas baubles are in there too that are beautiful.
Yes. So that just has that little touch of festivity without it, again, screaming Christmas. Because you could continue this through to New Year's Eve whenever you've had enough of Christmas. So
yeah, again, just take those Christmas elements out. You've still got beautiful candlelight. Like what a fun, you know, New Year's Eve party to sit at.
Yep.
And again, as I said, it just would last so well. And then you can plant all of those beautiful elements out and enjoy them.
I love it. I'm very excited to have that here for my customers to see from today.
I love it too. You know, I guess what's really interesting for me then is seeing that the tablescape is created first, then your process now in dressing it, like dressing the table with the plateware and the glassware and all those beautiful elements. Can you share with us what you go through, what your process is for that?
Well, it's interesting because I'm lucky in a way that I've got the shop here. I can just sort of grab a few things and trial and error, but I think we all have things in our cupboards at home that we just go to the same white plates each time and think that's fine, it's safe, and it is, and it's fabulous what you can do with napery and cutlery and change the look up. But we started today with a few things that I'd had in mind that I might use, but on trialing them in amongst this beautiful bit of colour and texture, they didn't really work. So some were, going more along the grey side and a delicate pattern. We had some pale grey plates as well, but it was actually too insipid for the beauty and the strength of this decoration and this tablescape. So we opted not to go with a French look. We then tried some plain white plates and they looked great, but a little bit safe. And then we ventured out to this beautiful
I'm so
stripe.
glad we have.
And that is probably brave for some people, but look how it energizes the table, and it's a hint of surprise. And as a festive occasion, I think people go, wow, this is fun. It uplifts the spirits.
Yep,
and
it is.
So we're really happy with that. Normally when I lay a table, I like to give it height in the place settings. But because, from what Nadine was saying also too, you don't want to overwhelm your guests by having too much height and your plates are up here. I wanted to stay a little bit lower to the table and let the centerpiece give us the height. A lot of the things that I look at are the 5 L's. So we have layering, and we've got layering with the elevation of the plate just on this simple riser. And then I love light. And so to have candlelight at different levels. If I was not filming, I would have the ceiling lights off and just have the candlelight. So you have a lower illumination, and then also, so you can see through to your guests, just a really fine taper candle holder. And the light is actually above where your eyes are, so it's not going to distract you when you're chatting with your guests. And then we've got texture, obviously, through the placemats and through the underplate. And then we have luster. It's really important because, again, the beautiful foliage is quite matte and woody and dried elements. So to have a little bit of luster through your cutlery, through the glaze on the plate and through the glassware, that gives it that nice lift, the same as your Hey You Moments ad. You've got to have some luster, so it gives it reflect and a bit of glamour, and the light playing on that from the candle lights against the glassware is really energising. And something loved, I think it's really important, as we have talked about before,
I love that.
introducing things that you just love. And for me, things like these little beautiful underplates, don't really need them on the table, but I love them. I love the hammered finish, I love the luster. So that's my element of love, as well as these beautiful decorations that are all handmade in Denmark from one of our Christmas suppliers. So you've got something living, obviously, through the centerpiece, something with luster, beautiful lighting, something you love, and then you're layering. So that's how I sort of incorporated it.
Yeah, that's a really good way.
With the glass was interesting, because I straight away was going for a nice clear glass, but it didn't have any impact when we put it on the table, just got lost. And just adding this little bit of colour through the glassware was something that we swapped up.
I love those green glasses. I think they're another surprise, but they just tone in so beautifully. Like I love green anyway, so it's a bit hard for me to not love anything that's green. But I also I love that extra element of love that you mentioned about bringing in personalised elements into your table. Do you agree? Like I do. I know that I've got special candlesticks that I use, or I've got my mother's dinner plates. You know, I lost my mum 20 years ago now, but I use her dinner set, and it's always just for those special occasions. And I think that's what brings that extra element to a table for your guests, that it doesn't feel like it's a showroom table, piece that you got. You know, it's about bringing just those few little quirky bits that you have the sentiment
about. Makes it uniquely yours. It gives it character, and there's a soul that you can't, again, put your finger on. You go, why does this feel so good? Because it's not all bought today, ready for the show.
Straight
it's
out
actually
of a magazine.
real, and I think, and authentic, which I think is the special touch that you should aim for. Bring out what you've already got and mix it up with an element of new, because I think that balance is what makes it uniquely yours and not something straight out of a cookie cutter catalogue. So think about how you can use those special and loved pieces in your own tablescape.
Yeah, I agree.
So another element that we did have a change of thought on, apart from when we went from the white plate to the stripe plate, we had originally laid the table with white napkins, and we had different colour options of dinner candle. And the thing is, with the Domaine Lumiere candles, there's maybe 40 colours in the range. So we had a beautiful burgundy to pick up the colour of the kangaroo paw. That's what it's called.
Yes, it is.
Don't know my plants. I know I like them, but I don't know the names. So we had that, and we all went, yeah, that looks great. And we tried a gold, and we went, that looks festive. And then we thought, just the simple black was really grounding, and I always like an element of black to ground a space, whether it's a vase, whether it's a dish, a chair. So when we laid the candlestick in black, we just went, yeah, that works beautifully. So then the white napkin looked a bit fresh and out of place. So we swapped the white for the black, and we just love that link with the black. And then it came to, okay, we've got these nice empty plates. I'm not going to lay them up higher than as I normally would. And so it's time to bring in a festive touch again. So we have this beautiful bonbon with just a hint of gold again, adding a bit of festive fun, but the black giving it that nice contemporary feel, linking back with the napkins and the candle holders and the tapered candles.
Yeah, I agree, Susie. I think that's given the table a really classy edge to it, when with all of this rustic, it could have gone almost quite country and very, not in a bad way, just a different look completely, more of an outdoors type feel, but this has just given it
an
elegance that's really special, and I think, yeah, I love this.
And maybe if you were doing a lunch, you might swap it up if it's something, and this is a great thing, say like my family, you have lunch with one side of the family and then dinner with another. So you could just by changing that, so you have the freshness for during the day, so you might have the white napkin, white
white colours,
white plates, so use that. And then for dinner, a little bit more drama and lower lighting, and then that's this statement in the black. So
yeah,
I think that's
I love how you can just change a few elements. It can be an inexpensive change around, but completely different. Yeah, completely different space.
Yes.
Yeah. We should do this again.
I know. I'd love to do that. That would be super.
This is so fun.
Easter and other things that we could work on together.
Yeah, and even seasonal, because I love that celebrating of the seasons. I think we should all have a party every season, you know. But it'd be lovely to be able to do something like that. Maybe even imagine if we could do a dinner party and a masterclass and have people here live, and
we've got the space, so we should do that.
And finish with a lovely lunch or a lovely dinner party.
How great.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds
Watch this
fantastic.
space, everyone.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I've loved working with you today.
Me too, Susie. Anytime.
And look forward to next time. And hope you have a lovely Christmas. If we don't see you beforehand, but please pop in, and if you've got an idea of or would like some ideas, any of our team can help you with your tablescape. Nadine will forward details.
Yeah, for sure.
So that,
if you're ever wanting to learn more and get your hands on botanicals and flowers and learn design and how to bring that into your home or to elevate your business and for your own clients, I'm definitely here to help you, whether that be with my online studio and tutorials or whether it be one-on-ones. So I do all of those things as well as workshops and potentially some great little collaborations together here.
I hope you come and be part of that.
Okay, well, I hope this has inspired you to, take some time to think about it the day before. I often feel like if my table's dressed, then I can race in and get myself dressed.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that?
Oh, doing it the day before. And that was another thing, I know we're about to finish, but just laying it the day before, you go, oh, what size will that fit? Yeah, that's perfect. Are my glasses clean? Because one of my bugbears is not having clean glasses. So it's giving you that time and space, and then you get to enjoy this with your guests.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So I hope
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Have a lovely Christmas.